All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well on this Friday, and we are getting back to business today. We are back to our list of most valuable 2025 Seattle Seahawks. Who did the most for this team? Who contributed the most to their Super Bowl run? We are moving on with number 8 today. Today is going to be our 8th most valuable player. Remember, we are counting up to the most valuable. So we started at 12, and now today we are doing 8. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. And today we're going to be doing one that definitely is hurt by the fact that he missed a significant number of games last season, because this is definitely a guy who is perceived as being one of the best players on this team. And overall, he is. But we are talking about value to the team for one particular season. And when you're not on the field, there's only so much value you can impart. We are talking about Devon Witherspoon. Devon Witherspoon had a very good season, but he was only able to affect the games when he was actually playing in the games, and he missed a significant amount of time this last season. So let's talk about Witherspoon a little bit. I don't think I need to tell you guys how good Devon Witherspoon is at football. He is a uniquely out. Oh, excuse me. Wow. He is a uniquely talented cornerback in all facets of the game. He is one of the best blitzing cornerbacks in football. He gets after the quarterback like few other corners out there. And especially for a corner of his size, his ability to tackle and defend against the run is exceedingly rare and is ultimately what makes him such a great player. So when you're talking about Devon Witherspoon, you look at some of the raw numbers and you're wondering, well, what am I missing here, right? On some level, you are talking about a player that doesn't put up the box score numbers the way that you might like your top end corner to put up. He's got 2 interceptions over a 3-year career with 42 games started, by the way, so he does play a pretty healthy amount of football, but for assorted reasons, he doesn't take the ball away very much. His ball production has gone down with each of the 3 seasons he's been in the NFL. He had 7 passes defense this last year, which is a noticeable step down from where he's been in previous years. And there is a sense that there are corners out there that are, at the very least, better in coverage than him. And you can even look at some of the stats that bear this out, even on Pro Football Reference. The coverage numbers for him are good, but they're not necessarily stellar. I think that would be fair. Like Reek Woolen and Josh Jobe both had really good cover numbers this last year. Like, I think Jobe in particular allowed less than 50% completion. Woolen, we all know how good his pass coverage numbers are, but Witherspoon, it's a little bit more. There's a little bit more nuance here than that, right? There's a little bit more of a question of, is this guy really a shutdown corner? But when you put all this stuff together into one package, you have to be reminded that Witherspoon is for one, he's really good in every area of football. Like, Pro Football Focus bears this out. For whatever it's worth, and I know that some people don't take Pro Football Focus very seriously, he was their number 1 graded cornerback this last year, and he was graded at least top 3 in every individual category that they evaluate corners by on their main page: coverage, pass rush, run defense. So you put all that together, you've got an extremely, extremely valuable player, even over 12 games. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the Prize Picks app, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. And ultimately, when you're talking about a player like a Devon Witherspoon, the thing to really keep in mind is that it's very similar to Nick Eamon-Wari in the sense that he is doing a bunch of different things for this defense that you can't necessarily calculate the value of in a box score. Like Pro Football Focus also bears this out. You take a look here. In 2025, Witherspoon played 461 snaps as an outside corner, 300 snaps as a slot corner, and 119 snaps in the box. He also did a little bit on the defensive line and at free safety, or as a deep safety, I guess would be a better way to qualify that. But the point is, like Eamon-Wari, he's all over the field in ways that can't be captured by a box score. So when you throw in things like that, and you have to understand the reason why this Seahawks defense is so good. The reason why this defense is ultimately so good is they have a lot of players that can play multiple roles. Guys like Nick Eamon-Wari and guys like Devon Witherspoon, even if they make mistakes, even if they do things that are not always optimal, even if they don't do some of the things that you see other elite players do, their versatility overrides a lot of that. Even if they do occasionally give up big plays in the passing game, even if they give up the occasional touchdown or miss the occasional tackle, what they provide in their flexibility makes a lot of that, I don't want to say moot, but it makes it less important. Like you would rather have an occasionally messy player who can do 3 or 4 different things on a football field than a really clean player who can only do one thing in this defense. And there are other players that participate in this. Guys like Byron Murphy who can play 3 tech and 1 tech. You've got safeties that can play deep or in the box effectively. That is more important than being great in any one area as far as this defense is concerned. So you're talking about one of the best pass rushing corners in football. You're talking about one of the best tackling corners in football. Somebody who, by the way, for as physically as he plays and as much as he does get involved in run support and tackling, really doesn't miss that many tackles. You're getting an incredible amount of value here. Again, the main thing that holds Witherspoon back in some sense, at least in terms of value this most recent season, would be the fact that he missed 5 games. He played the first game of the year, missed the next 2 games, came back for 1 game, and then missed the next 3 games, and then he came back and played out the rest of the season. So I do think that there is some stuff left on the table when you miss that much time. If he can put together a full season at the level that we saw this most recent season, not only would he be far more valuable to this team and rank much higher in a future video series like this, but he might put his name up there for being the best corner in football. Like, interceptions do tend to be a little bit fluky, especially in the modern NFL. Last 3 years, he's got a total of 2 interceptions, but if little things start to break his way over the next few years, he could have a season where he has like 4 or 5 interceptions very easily, and suddenly that doesn't seem like that big of a deal. So that is what Devon Witherspoon brings, a very talented all-around corner and somebody that when he was on the field was as good as anybody in the game. One other thing that you could say works against him a little bit, I guess, would be his game against the Rams in the NFC Championship game was mixed. That was the most important game of the year. That was basically the Super Bowl. And in that game, he gave up a lot in coverage. I think it was over 100 yards, according to PFF. But he did make 2 very big plays at the very end of the game defensively. Maybe you could even say 3 by some definition if you want to include tackling Puka in bounds on the last play. So on some level, he does make up for that. But that was a bumpy game. However, it is also worth noting, if you want to flip it to the other side, is he was one of the more extraordinary performers in the Super Bowl with his pass rush acumen. He had his best game rushing the passer all season against the Patriots, and his play rushing Drake May was a pretty big reason why that game went the way it did. You can associate Devon Witherspoon with some of the biggest plays in that game for the defense. So there is some give and take there. There is some back and forth you can have about his effectiveness in the figurative Super Bowl. The literal Super Bowl, however, very special. So for all those reasons, Devon Witherspoon is my 8th most valuable Seattle Seahawk. I think there's also some abstract stuff here as well. He is a leader. He is a very vocal presence on this defense. And I think the team feeds off his energy in a way that doesn't necessarily show up in the stat sheet. So overall, I believe that if he can put together a fully healthy season where he actually stays on the field for at least 14 or 15 games, you're talking about a guy who probably should be top 5. And ultimately, you could argue that punishing him for missing early season games is kind of missing the point, because ultimately he was there when we needed him, and for the most part, he was effective when we needed him. So there's some perspective here, I will grant you, but I put Devon Witherspoon 8th. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to get on out of here. Maybe something happens later today and I'll make another video, but in all likelihood, we are going to carry it forward to tomorrow, and I'll have more to say then. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Devon Witherspoon is my number 8. Uniquely talented, uniquely valuable player, and hopefully we can get that extension inked soon. All right, go Hawks.